We all know the classic comic book fantasy. You get bitten by a radioactive bug or exposed to a strange chemical, and suddenly you can fly or lift a bus over your head. But in reality, human biology is a strictly regulated system designed to keep us grounded. Your brain actually acts as a physical governor. If you look at this medical visualization, you can see how it works. When a muscle fiber attempts to violently contract, the brain steps in with a restrictive electrical pulse. It deliberately limits your maximum output to prevent your tendons from tearing right off the bone. There is a secondary governor operating at the DNA level that caps our body's oxygen capacity. If it didn't do this, climbing to a high altitude would cause our blood to dangerously thicken into a sludge, leading to a heart attack. Our bodies are optimized for one specific goal: safe, sustainable survival. They are explicitly engineered to suppress extreme, physically taxing abilities. But biology is a numbers game. Every time a human genome duplicates, roughly 100 random genetic mutations, tiny typos, are left behind. Usually, these typos cause disease. Think of your body like a complex engine. Pull a random wire out, the system breaks down. But occasionally, that random typo hits the exact right spot. A wire gets pulled, and suddenly the engine produces 500 horsepower. The people walking among us with real-life super abilities didn't fall into a vat of toxic waste. They simply won the ultimate biological lottery. Consider the case of Liam Hoekstra. When he was just a toddler, he developed extreme physical strength due to an incredibly rare genetic glitch. This cellular diagram explains what happened. Normally, myostatin proteins act as a physical barrier to tell your muscles to stop growing. In Liam's body, those proteins are completely missing, causing his muscle fibers to expand rapidly and indefinitely. We see similar physical extremes in a family from Connecticut. Instead of infinite muscle growth, their genetic typo gave them unbreakable bones. Due to a mutation in the LRP5 gene, normal, porous bone tissue rapidly fills with dense calcium structures, increasing until it becomes impenetrable. A single missing protein or a slightly altered gene is entirely capable of overriding the standard laws of human physical fragility. These individual anomalies happen by chance, but when an entire population faces extreme environmental pressure over centuries, these typos can become collective, generational adaptations. The Bajau people live as a sea nomadic culture in Southeast Asia. For generations, they have been capable of free diving to extreme depths for long periods. They can do this because they possess a genetically enlarged spleen. When they dive, this organ releases a massive wave of oxygen-rich red blood cells into their system, functioning exactly like an internal biological scuba tank. We see a similar adaptation in the freezing environments of Finland. Eero Mantiranta was an unassuming Olympic skier who possessed historically unmatched athletic endurance. He carried a mutation in his erythropoietin, or EPO, receptor gene. This allowed his bloodstream to carry 50% more oxygen than a normal person. Without the mutation, that much oxygen would have thickened his blood and killed him. For Eero, it meant he could ski at maximum capacity without ever running out of breath. Human evolution is an active, ongoing mechanism, rewriting our environmental limits in real time. While the body adapts to physical extremes, the architecture of the brain holds its own mysteries. We see this most clearly in savant syndrome, where atypical neurological development unlocks cognitive capacities that defy standard expectations. Kim Peek, for example, memorized over 12,000 books during his lifetime. He could read 2 pages simultaneously, processing massive amounts of data in seconds. This schematic of the human brain shows how Peek's mind operated. He was born completely missing the corpus callosum, the center bridge connecting the left and right hemispheres. Without standard bottlenecks, his brain compensated with an explosion of rapid, uninterrupted neural connections. We also see this profound neuroplasticity in Stephen Wiltshire. Known as the human camera, he can look at a massive, complex city skyline exactly once and then perfectly render it by hand, entirely from memory. These isolated islands of genius prove that the brain's plasticity is far more flexible and mysterious than conventional science currently understands. Modern medicine treats these unique individuals as living biological blueprints. Medical researchers are actively working to reverse engineer the Connecticut family's LRP5 mutation. By understanding exactly how their bodies build impenetrable calcium structures, scientists are formulating functional, gene-based cures for osteoporosis. Similarly, a man named Stephen Crone carried a mutation known as Delta 32, which granted him absolute genetic immunity to HIV. This microscopic animation shows what happens. When a viral cell attempts to latch onto his white blood cell, it aggressively bounces off an impenetrable genetic lock on the surface. By studying the mechanics of Crohn's immunity, virologists were able to identify the exact genetic pathway needed to block the virus from entering the cell. The people rewriting the limits of human capability don't wear capes. Their unique DNA and atypical brains are establishing the baseline for the future of human health.